All right. This is a homemade tattoo. A little girl gave it to me. Now, I've had this thumbnail. So the thumbnail that you saw for this video, I've actually had since the 22nd of July of last month. I'm going to prove it. Right? I've had it sitting on my desktop. Not that one. This is the properties of the thumbnail that you can see. Right? See that shit? 22nd of July. Right? That's my thumbnail. Right? I'm showing you that. So that way you know I'm not telling fibs. Alright. So I had this dude leave a comment going, I think it was on one of my Marvel vs. Capcom 2 videos for like, you know, is it possible that it's actually going to be coming out? Right? And he said, he comes in and he goes, they're actually bringing out an arcade one-up machine for Marvel vs. Capcom 2 that has a whole, essentially it's the Versus series, right? So I made up the thumbnail a month ago because I was thinking the same fucking thing. Not because of the arcade machine, just what will Capcom do next? What's the next greatest thing that they could do to bring back games from the yesteryear that are very beloved fighting franchises and titles? And Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is like, it is like, you know, the bee's knees, right? It is just like the pinnacle when everyone thinks of it. And granted, like, you know, X-Men vs. Street Fighter, Marvel Superheroes vs. Street Fighter, you know, they're all really fun, sure, right? But ultimately, it's Marvel vs. Capcom 2. I think it was just because it was one of the very few fighting games at the time, and still, actually, that has one of the biggest character rosters ever, which is fucking awesome, right? And in this arcade machine, even though it's listed as being Marvel vs. Capcom 2, these are actually all the games you get in it. 8 classic titles, including Marvel vs. Capcom 2, Marvel vs. Capcom, Marvel Superheroes vs. Street Fighter, X-Men vs. Street Fighter, Marvel Superheroes, X-Men Children of the Atom, X-Men Mutant Apocalypse, and Marvel Superheroes in War of the Gems. Right? So I think that, given now that I know this information, right? So thank you to that dude who notified me of this. And then going back what I was thinking a month ago, like 100%, they have got to be bringing this like digitally to everyone, right? Like 100%. I cannot imagine, like for a second. What's my cat doing? What are you doing, baby? Don't go in there. He won't fit. Too fat now. Thank God, right? Like computers and shit and stuff down there. Then you know. They like you don't go to this amount of effort for an arcade machine. Do you know what I'm saying? Right? And I could be wrong. I don't want to be wrong. I want to be right because I think it's time. They brought out a Capcom fighting collection with Darkstalkers. Right? Darkstalkers is niche in the Capcom universe. Like it's a great fighting game, right? But their characters, like great fighting game series, but their characters have been shared, right, across the Versus ages, right? And that's where a lot of people will probably have played or used most of those characters rather than actually in Darkstalkers games themselves, right? So I think this is the next step, is for them to do this. I think the next step after that, and I talked about this, I can't remember. Did I do a video? I can't remember if I did a video on what Mortal Kombat should do next for like their 30th anniversary. I think I was just ranting and raving in another video, right? I might do the same thing. I might do up a screenshot, like not a screenshot, a fucking thumbnail, right? And talk about it that way because like. Especially Mortal Kombat 30th year anniversary, we get dick all. We haven't heard shit, right? Capcom have been killing it. Capcom have been killing it for a while, right? Now, when they brought out their 35th. Was it the 35th anniversary? Was it that one, or was it the 30th anniversary for Street Fighter? The Street Fighter arcade, essentially arcade collection. Yeah, it was 30th anniversary collection, right? It's great and it's not. Right? And this is where I think maybe they could turn it around. Right? So we only got the arcade games in that collection. Right? Capcom Fighting Collection. We got, the arcade games. I think there might have been previously unreleased Japanese console versions. Maybe? I'm going to have to double check. But I'm pretty sure it was just arcade versions, right? If they do this, but digitally, right? Because I'm telling you, like, you don't go to this effort for an arcade machine that is, it's going to sell, but, not everyone has space for a giant fucking box. Okay, right? And the fact that they would have gone in and, it's all coding, right? So they would have already coded this to work. How hard would it be to just slap a fucking digital, face cover on it and go, here you go, and sell it to every man, woman, and child in the known universe? So I reckon it's going to come. And thanks to the dude that showed me this, I reckon 100% now, 100 fucking percent. You don't go to all this effort, right, for nothing. Like, at all, right? This is a nice little trailer. Let's play the trailer while we're still talking. So I think Capcom's next move, right, I think, should be bring in the home console versions and or handheld versions into a collection, right? We're getting that with the Cowabunga collection for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. We're getting everything from the arcade games to the original NES, Super NES, fucking Mega Drive, fighting games, all of it. Like, we're getting like, 13 titles in a few days in this massive, like, Turtles collection you could ever hope for. It's missing a couple of the 3D era games, but, primarily, they could bring out another collection with those in if they wanted to. And I like these collections because it means that not only do they bring them back from the past to now, but they give online, you can actually play these fucking things online. So Capcom's next collection should be essentially like the home versions. Give us Super Nintendo, Mega Drive, or Genesis versions of the Street Fighter games, right? Give us the and any other home versions that we got, or that actually sort of were pinnacles. So you could give us the Alpha 3 version of like for Street Fighter Alpha 3 from the PlayStation 1. You could also give us that from the PSP version, Alpha Max, right? That's what I think they should do. Oh, and I think the Dreamcast version was pretty awesome as well. And they could do it. You know how I know they could do it? Because if you go back to the PS2 days, right? I gotta check something. On the PS2, they actually there was a Street Fighter Alpha Anthology where you not only get the original versions but also home versions as well, and a Street Fighter Anniversary Collection. So don't tell me they can't fucking do it. They've done it. Right? They've done it like 3 generations ago. Okay? Easily. And that was on systems that could barely handle it, and there was, and they didn't have online play then. So I reckon they should do it. And Capcom's smart. This keeps Capcom, Street Fighter, all their games, it keeps them in people's minds. So they keep thinking about, oh, what's the next one going to be? What's the next one going to be? This, if they bring this out, if they announce this shit, right, apart from Maximilian, like, covering his camera and semen, this thing will fucking blow up. It'll be fucking huge, right? The Capcom, like, fighting collection, I think was like a bit of a dick tease, right? Because I think they know what they're doing. I think they know that people want this stuff. They've sent the hashtag push through from Max and others to free Capcom, Marvel vs. Capcom 2, right? So I reckon they have to bring it out, man. You don't go to this fucking effort for a fucking 3D rectangle. I'm just saying, man. right? There is money to be made, and that's it. You know, release that on every known platform, and you will fucking just print cash, right? People have been after this shit for years, and even if the only game that anyone ever played out of that, right? And keep in mind, just for before if the only game people played was MVC2, no one gives a fuck, right? They just want MVC2. People will pay top dollar just to get MVC2, you know, in a playable form. But imagine, for a second, outside of emulation, we actually get like proper, like a way to play it on our consoles or on PC. Games like X-Men vs Street Fighter and Marvel Superheroes vs Street Fighter that has no like gimped sort of thing like the PS1 versions did, where you couldn't actually play, you know, a 2-on-2. Like you couldn't summon in your other character. You could choose 2 characters, but you had to let one die. Right, which is dumb as shit, right? But they couldn't handle it. They didn't have enough memory to handle it. But you can play this stuff on MAME like on an emulator. Sure, it's easy and it's fine and it's great, and that's the ports we'd get, right? But you know, if you're a home console user, especially back in those days, the Saturn was fine, but the PS1, if you only had a PS1 not a Saturn, you're fucked. Like it was awful, right? It really was, right? So anyway, I'll leave it there. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll catch you next time. See ya.